So minding the vent. And if we truly go back and look at pick any event of your life, it doesn't really matter. But what we want to do is we want to take the event details, those we put no judgment, no right, no wrong. Remember, we don't want to use that filter. We put nothing on them. We just take the details of the event, what happened, and we pour them into the top of that hourglass. What happens is what we want to happen is we want to use in the middle of that hourglass, we want to put the filter of identity. So then when we pour those event details in, what happens is it is separated through the event facts and then our perceptions on the bottom. Because remember, the teen, he allowed the circumstances of his dad leaving to use the filter of abandonment. He didn't use that. And so then he allowed his perceptions to have abandonment be attached to him. And then he would then view all most likely, I'm not saying this is black and white, but most likely he would view all subsequent relationships with well, you're just going to leave me too, because that's what people do. They abandon me. And that is not authentic communication. That is not objective. Because that's exactly what human nature tends to do is we flip it upside down and we flip that hourglass upside down, and then the event details are poured in and it goes through that improper filter, and then what happens is it'll go through our perceptions, which often dictate which filter we then place there, and they become our event facts. Abandonment became his fact. The abuser took on I'm cruel and detestable, and that became their fact when that is not it at all. God's his statements are you are loved unconditionally, you are forgiven, and I will never leave you or forsake you. You have great purpose. Those are the facts. Always, always, always. All right. So truly, it is the keys of objectivity, learning how to look at that through an objective point of view, God's perspective, that is what will open the door to the event facts. And honestly, it's not just true for me, it's true for many people, is that we can look at other people's situations and the things that they go through, and we can immediately identify, here's where you were wrong, here's where they were they I did say wrong, didn't I? So here's where your behavior was not in alignment with God. How about that? Here's where their behavior was not in alignment with God. And we can immediately, objectively, because we have no emotional ties to this, so we can objectively identify where people's thinkings need realignment and or their behavior, and where their thinking is in alignment. But we need to learn how to do that for our own situation, because that truly will either, if you do not begin to hone this skill in looking at the events surrounding your own life, then what's going to happen is that it's going to keep us in a place of really constraints. We're going to build the fences around ourselves and our lives because we just continue to keep those constraints. We continue to put new constraints there that keep us from moving into the possibilities and the promises that God has in store for us. He wants us to go out into those possibilities. But if we continue to not look at our lives and the facts of our lives objectively, then we just keep building that fence, that constraint fence, and it will forever keep us separated from those possibilities.